Alright, Scott, if you can hear me, we're going to start again. The last time I believe we did Vicar Amelia. The big, wolf deer-looking lady. Alright, take a quick look through my inventory. Double check our supply here. Okay, we've got enough. Alright, yep. Here we go. And we're gonna try to go until you're able to go here, which is gonna be, I think you said 3. Alright. Let's see here. We'll wait for the guy with the axe to come back on the bridge because there's a guy with a rifle on the other end. Yep, here we go. Ouch. Drop down this way then. We'll try to get the attention of these dogs over here. Now I might die a couple of times to some silly things here because I'm not using my normal wireless controller. Using my second-party wireless wired controller I got a while ago. It has a problem with the left joystick, which controls movement. It sticks a little bit. I'm waiting on some parts to repair my other controller, the wired one. The trigger on that one, the right trigger, is the spring is wearing down on it, so I'm gonna try to replace that later because I can't afford a new one. Like, I think it's ludicrous. I'm not sure if you know this, Scott, but a new this is why I'm not really necessarily looking forward to the PlayStation 5. A new or even a lot of times used wireless shot controller for the PlayStation 5 is as much as a brand new game, like $50 or $60. And used ones can run like $40 right now. I found a couple of sellers on eBay that are sellers like 30 with free shipping, but it's kind of nuts if you ask me. But anyway, heads up on that. It's especially bad in a game like Bloodborne, where you have to really rely on being able to get moving in certain situations. Like, literally, this, I stopped using the wired controller for a while because that was getting me killed a lot of the time. Like, I wasn't able to move fast enough. And originally I got the wired controller because before I got a new kind of multi-plug outlet for my room, where I plug in my TV and my soundbar and my PlayStation, I had an old power strip that was causing so much EMI, electromagnetic interference, that it was interfering with my PlayStation's Bluetooth receiver, and it was literally making my PlayStation unstable. My PlayStation would start up, it would, what do you call it? It would be fine for a bit, but then the controller would not work. Because, and the thing about that is when the controller doesn't have a connection, like when it times out and you can't reconnect it, you have to restart the console. Like, there's no workaround to it. It sucked ass. But anyway, I'm on a solution to that. I'm actually going to be trying to do more of that, because I managed to break open and, well, I mean, like, take apart safely my PlayStation a little while ago and clean it, because I hadn't dusted it since I got it, and it was used to begin with. That was exactly I'm gonna order more screws for it, because there was a special kind of screw that you have to use, and I think I might have almost completely stripped a couple of them, but I'll have to see here in a bit. Okay, so no, back to the gameplay here. There's gonna be have an item here. It's some church garb, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but the name of this area is Forbidden Woods. And the church had I don't remember the specifics of it, but the church had well, actually we'll see in a bit, but the church had blocked this area off to normal people. But as we can see here on this corpse, there was, I mean, it's a different model, but it's implied that there was a church presence here still. Let's take a look at it. So, the black church garb is for, it's implied that it's, that these guys are, rather can be doctors, but it's also implied that these guys worked to get rid of people who had the Scourge of the Beast, even, like, before they might have been exhibiting symptoms, like if they had suspicions. And this one says, attire of special church doctors. These doctors are superiors to the black preventative hunters, and specialists in experimentally black blood administration and the Scourge of the Beast. They believe that medicine is not a means of treatment, but rather a method of research, and that some knowledge can only be obtained by exposing oneself to sickness. Qyburn in Game of Thrones actually said something similar. The only way to understand disease is to study the afflicted, which is more or less true. So, I mean, you're going to be exposing yourself to sickness no matter what. Now these, the white garb has very high poison resistance. I don't think we're going to be able to get to the area for which that's relevant just yet, but maybe we'll get to that at a certain point. Okay, let's see. There's a bunch of dogs up here that sit in ambush, so I'm going to be careful up here. must have got in on my blind spot on my right side because I did not see him until he jumped at me. Okay, we're gonna kill this guy right here. And I'm not sure if I picked up any of this. No, I hadn't. Okay, so blue elixir, liquid that makes still bodies undetectable. Dubious liquid medicine used in strange experiments conducted by high ministers of the healing church. A type of anesthetic that numbs the brain. Hunters, able to retain consciousness by force of will, make use of a secondary effect of the medicine, which dilutes their presence while standing still. Now, this is in essence an invisibility potion. I haven't seen anybody use it in PvP, but I think, if I remember correctly, it actually makes you completely invisible to other players. You're still partially visible to yourself. What it's most useful for is you drink it and you walk very slowly, and as long as the enemy that you're trying to sneak up on cannot detect you regardless, which some of them can, like that elixir won't work on them, but you can actually sneak up on a lot of enemies and make certain parts of the game way easier. Oh shit. Alright. Okay, good, I got rid of him before I get his buff off. Got some blood vials. If we don't die again, we're going to go back to the beginning area because I left a lot of items over there on enemies. Most of them are going to be blood vials. Alright, so this is another thing, an interesting item to find in the Forbidden Woods, with the name Forbidden Woods. It's a hunter tool called Beast Roar. Now, I'm not sure if I might get my arcane high enough to use these, because you only need a certain amount in your attack skills, like your offensive skills, to make full use of your weapons and your abilities. After a certain point, it doesn't become prudent to spend points in them. But these ones require 15 arcane base to use. The hunter tools, that is. There's other ones that you can use for like spells, essentially, but those are for arcane builds. So, Force of Beast Roar repels nearby foes and objects. One of the forbidden hunter tools made by the Reverend Izzy. Borrow the strength of the terrible undead dark beasts, if only for a moment, to blast surrounding foes back with the force of a roaring beast. The indescribable sound is broadcast with the caster's own vocal cords, which begs the question, what terrible things lurk deep within the frames of man? Or men? I'm not sure if you remember, but we actually fought a dark beast in Yarhagul, and that attack there's an attack that he uses where he arches his back and then roars, and then it does an AoE with does an AoE with lightning damage. It has the same effect, but without the lightning. You can use it to knock back people. You can use it to actually deflect some projectiles. A lot of times it's just used as a situational thing. I rarely use it myself. It's most useful in PvP when you have an enemy near a cliff. You can use this to knock them off and end the fight very quickly. Right, so we're gonna go. Yeah, we'll go this way. We're gonna have to be careful here because there's a bunch of enemies that throw Molotovs, as you can see.
Freeze!
actually take the stuff that these guys have up here. Because I don't think I'm back up this way if we backtrack. Oh, good, we've got some Molotov cocktails. I'm not sure if you can tell by looking at it, but that's not water down there, that's actually oil. And I'm not sure if you remember or not, but oil makes Molotov cocktails do more damage, so what we're gonna do is this, because I feel like it. We can also use the torch to poke these enemies in the oil here. Shards. More of them. I guess since we're here, we'll start clearing this area out. Okay. Want to make sure there's no nobody coming up my backside and fucking me. Sometimes the Wolfman guys will drop blood shards, and sometimes oil birds. They're good to farm for, well, some of the time for upgrade materials. There's other better ones to get, but they're good. They're a good one to do. For the stash. Bullets. Some more cocktails. I'm not sure if you remember, but those actually, for certain enemies, will distract them for a while. Especially the Dark Beast enemies. I mean the undead Dark Beasts and not the abhorrent beasts. There's a few others I can't remember, but like they just essentially have to be very beast-like. I don't think I forgot. I lost my train of thought there because I was looking at the new item. Not sure if you saw these before. Large medicinal pellets supposedly formed of coagulated beast blood. Banned by the Healing Church due to their unclear origin. Grants a spirit of beasthood. Ripping apart the flesh of one's enemies and being rained upon by their spattering blood invigorates one's sense of beasthood, feeding strength and euphoric feeling alike. Now, these are essentially just used for beasthood builds. That works off of insight. The more insight you have, the more your beasthood meter will grow if you use... well, there's a rune that you can do that'll let you... or rather, a rune that you can equip that will let you get beasthood without the beasthood pellet, without the beast blood pellets. But a lot of people will do that to get them a jump start on it. And what it does, what beasthood does, is it works better with weapons that have blunt attacks, like the axe. There's a couple of others I can't. But what will happen is, when you hit an enemy, it'll give you more beasthood, and when you get more beasthood at, like, I think it scales, like at a certain percent of your meter, you get more damage, and I don't remember how it works, but after a certain time, when you get enough on your beasthood meter, you'll get resistance to damage and more physical attack. It only does, it only translates into physical damage, though. That it only increases that, so if you're looking to do other types of damage, it'd be better not to do that. At certain points, with certain actions, you'll take more damage than other times. Like if you're dodging and you take a hit, you'll take more damage. If you're attacking and your enemy hits you at the same time you do, you hit the enemy, then well, I gotta remember not to charge forth here. There's an asshole with a cannon. But yeah, you'll do more damage. Rather, it works both ways, but ow. You'll do more damage, but also you'll take more damage. Alright, now, we're gonna make our way into the second part of the Forbidden Woods here in a minute. Before we do, there's actually a shortcut that we can take back to the beginning lantern. We're gonna do that so we can spend our blood vials, but it's here that we start to see that there's something else up with the Forbidden Woods. I normally get a visceral attack on this guy, but I'll let him see me so you can see what's up. another shortcut that's before the next boss area, but we're not going to be able to get to that just yet. We have another Madman's Knowledge. We're going to... I don't necessarily, I forgot about this, that's another reason I don't necessarily like this controller, the wired one, too much. It's got a hair trigger on it. We're going to come up to another NPC here in a second. This way. Okay, goody, we got some more poison knives. Alright, and with this NPC here, I don't want to give too much away, but I want to let you know, make sure you take a good look at him and what he's doing. Okay, so we got a couple of bodies here. We got this guy over another body. And it looks like he's picking something up from it, but I wonder what you think about that, Scott. So we're going to talk to him.
Whoa! Blimey, don't scare me like that. On a night like this, I took you for a monster. Oh, thank the stars, you're fairly normal. Was it you who put down that awful beast? Ooh, that thing had me trembling, frozen in my boots. And then you came along. Well, if you're a hunter, then would you know of any safe havens?
Okay, Scott, I want you to text me when you get a chance with this. He's asking where to be sent. Now, we have most of the good we have the good people at Erden Chapel. And I'm not sure if you remember, but Yusefka's clinic, originally, she wouldn't let anybody in to help staunch infection. And afterwards, she got replaced by someone with a different voice, so it's kind of sketch. This guy here has blood all over his hands. He was picking at one of the corpses down there, and I'm not sure if you remember, but Gascoigne had coverings over his eyes. So where would you like to send him? Oh, alright, well, I'm going to send him to Yusefka's clinic because he's a bad guy, but, I'll end it here, then, for you. I hope you liked it. Thanks for tuning in, Scott. I'll catch you later.
I'll be. Thank you. It's about time I made a move.
Figured.
I can't very well stay out on my own. Oh, you're giving me hope. Terribly kind of you. Take this. It's all I can offer us, thanks.
Alright, there's nobody tuning in here, so I'm gonna message, leave this post message for you on you when you watch it. Scott just left. He was having his niece and nephew over, apparently. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the Hunter's Dream and spend some Blood Echoes, and that'll be it for this stream here. Because we didn't get to do a lot in this one, in this stream here, we're going to do Bloodborne next week as well, the next time. So we can get to the next boss, and then we'll do Nier again. And there's an NPC here, but I'm going to save that for when we get back to Scott. I got any, consumable Blood Echo things? No. Okay. I'm gonna talk to the doll here. She looks to be sleeping.
Ah, welcome home, good hunter. I must have drifted off. What is it you desire? Very well.
Let's see here. We'll do Mourn our blood tinge here.
Farewell.
Let's see if we need to repair anything. Our cane, our spear, our torch. Let's see what we can fortify here. Alright, I think that's going to do it. So yeah, like I said, we'll do more Bloodborne the next time, because we didn't get very far. Hope you like this one, Anya, and we'll see, we'll do more next time.